Hey guys, it's John Bellamy here. Listen, I got this question the other day in our Facebook community by Brian Keap, who is a fantastic coach and mentor and is a founder of a couple of different companies. And specifically, the question was, I'll bring it up on screen for you in a second, but it was all about Sales Navigator. So Sales Navigator, for those of you who are unaware, is the premium solution that is offered on the LinkedIn platform. And Brian's question was about what's the best practice for using Sales Navigator when you have multiple people on a team. And his example, he had the founder of the business, whereby they are typically doing some LinkedIn connection outreach through that founder's profile. But then they also have a new salesperson that they've just hired on the team, as well as a third person, which is the appointment setter. So he's like, how do we transition between these three people? How do we leverage Sales Navigator and really maximize the opportunity and the benefit that Sales Navigator has? So I wanted to just take a couple of minutes and give you a couple of ideas behind this. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you could look at Sales Navigator. So Sales Navigator, you've got an individual license that you can look at, or you can actually go and purchase what they call a Teams license, whereby you might have multiple people on the team having their individual licenses, but the searches and the parameters behind those licenses are shared within the organization. So on the later half where you've got the multiple licenses, typically I would only recommend that for when you've got at least 5+ sales team within your organization. When you've got less than 5, in Brian's case, what I'd suggest is just have the individual license. And furthermore, where I'd probably go here is I'd say that you could probably just retain the license specifically with the CEO, the owner of the company. Because that's where the reach out is going to happen, and that's where the bulk of the connection strategy is going to happen. Now, you might be wondering, well, why would that be the case? Well, think of it this way. Who do people actually want to connect with? Do they want to connect with the founder, the CEO, the managing director of an organization, or do they want to connect with the salesperson? Now, that's not trying to be derogatory or anything about salespeople or appointment setters. I mean, they've got an extremely important role. But if you just think of human dynamics and the way that people think and react, more often than not, people are going to accept, and this has been through our experience of sending hundreds upon thousands of connection requests over the years for our clients, people are going to accept, which means you'll get a higher acceptance rate when it comes from that CEO. So if we are going to go down that track of using Sales Navigator specifically from the CEO, what is the next steps, and how do we integrate, how do we bring the members in the team into the process? So just to recap, in Brian's question, and in his case, they've got the CEO, then they've got the salesperson, as well as an appointment setter. So what I would suggest doing here is incorporating your LinkedIn Sales Navigator, your LinkedIn platform, with some type of CRM solution. So for example, we utilize Keap with all of our clients in our business. There's many different CRMs out there, but Keap is by far the #1 sales and marketing automation platform for small, medium businesses across the globe. It's my platform of choice. You can use whatever you like, but I'd recommend Keap. And what we would implement there is a campaign that we like to call the Transporter campaign. So let me dive a little bit deeper into this for you for the moment. What you want to be thinking of in the Transporter campaign is we have #1, we have the connection happening on LinkedIn. So using Sales Navigator, we've identified that key target market. We've started sending out connection messages to those individuals, whether the list is 500 people, 5,000 people. We've started sending individual connection requests to these people. And let's just say that for every 100 connection requests that you send, you might get 48 or 48% of people that accept that connection request. So what we're really focused on here now is those people who accept. So we've now got, in that example, we've sent 100, we've got 48 who have accepted. So what we will typically run is we'll have a flow that will come through on LinkedIn. So we've had the connection request, then we'll have like a thanks for connecting once they've accepted, and maybe 3 to 5 follow-up messages on LinkedIn. So that's happening on the platform, and that's all being sent via the one profile, which in Brian's case would be the CEO of that company. Next, and this is where the Transporter campaign powered by Keap comes into it, what we would look at doing is transitioning those conversations from the LinkedIn platform into an email platform. So what we would look at doing here is when those connections are accepted, so those 48 people are accepted, they go through the track there, but we also then fire off or trigger a couple of emails that will go to the individual. So the first email, and they're very non-salesy, I cannot stress this enough, non-salesy email. The very first email, once again, will still come from that CEO, and it will be relating back to that LinkedIn connection. So it could be, hey Brian, it's John here. Following our recent connection on LinkedIn, I just wanted to transition our conversation to email. I trust that is okay. Just to recap, here is a little bit more about our organization and why I wanted to connect. By the way, I wanted to introduce you to XYZ, Mary on my team, who works with all of our target audience, making sure that we provide you with the best possible service, solutions, blah, 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 whatever you want to say there. So we've got this transitional email. So to recap, we've had LinkedIn messages. Now we've got this transitional email from the CEO. Once again, non-salesy, but it brings in and highlights that I am going to introduce you to my team member. So in the campaign, we've had that email go out from the CEO, and then we'll put a delay timer in there. Now, whatever you want to do from a delay is entirely up to you. It might be 30 minutes, might be a couple of hours, might be a day, whatever that is there. But then what we'll do is in that same little sequence of events, we'll actually then fire off an email from the salesperson. Okay, so the salesperson will then have an email to that exact same connection that was on LinkedIn, and it'll reiterate the message from the CEO. So it'll be like, hey John, further to my CEO's message, Brian, for example, further to my CEO's message yesterday, a few minutes ago, I just wanted to personally introduce myself. My role at the XYZ organization is to help you do XYZ, help you achieve this, blah, 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 blah. And then we'll have some type of call to action there. Once again, quite soft, but it would be like, if you're open to it, I've got a white paper, I've got a report, I'd love to organize a time, demo, whatever it might be, and share that with you. So that's how you would transition and bring in the different components from the CEO connecting with the right target audience on LinkedIn to transitioning to an email introduction. Hey, we've connected on LinkedIn. Can we transition to email? And I want to introduce the sales team member. So that's those two roles. We've got the CEO and the sales team member there. But what about the appointment setter? What about the appointment setter, and how do we bring them into the equation? So once again, this can all be handled within this transporter campaign that's all been powered off from a foundational piece of Sales Navigator and using LinkedIn. And what we would do is we would either task or create some form of email action to identify and notify the appointment setter or setters on your team, and we will provide them with the LinkedIn connections details, so their name, their company name, their email address, their phone number if we have that, or task them to go and find the phone number so that they can go and make the conversation. And then naturally off the back of that conversation, being that they are an appointment setter, they would have some type of online calendar link that they would utilize to book that appointment for that salesperson, and then that would trigger into a consultation or an appointment campaign from there. So that's where I know there's a few moving parts and everything there for you, and I'd be happy to walk you through in more details around this, but that's how we would use Sales Navigator and platforms like Keap, like a quality CRM with marketing automation, to really look at your team structure, and in Brian's case, once again, having that CEO, that salesperson, and the appointment setter, and leveraging Sales Navigator to get really targeted so that we're not wasting time connecting with the wrong people. And when those right people accept our connection request, we can actually move them through a proven format, both leveraging the LinkedIn platform as well as your CRM with Keap. Hey, it's John Bellamy here. I trust you found that of value. If you've got any questions whatsoever, just reach out. I'm more than happy to organize a call and, like I said, run through that one-to-one with you. And hopefully we can help you generate more leads in sales, leveraging platforms like LinkedIn and quality marketing and sales automation with Keap. Have a great day.